Had somebody else get at me and said, "Hey, Ronnie, can you explain the difference between the feds and the state?" I'll tell you one difference is that in the states, you could have a tip with its race have a complete grip over all the prisons with that race. You know, the Mexicans, the whites, the blacks don't really, not so much. They tried a couple times with CCO, Consolidated Crip Organization, and I was with Yo-Yo and them back in Folsom in the day when they were trying to do all that. They tried to bring some, but it just seemed like they had too much water under the bridge, man, too much blood spilled. I don't know. But in any event, in the feds, like, let's just go ahead and let's use AB as an example. In the state, the AB controls the whites, per se, that are on all the lines. What they say goes, they run it in the state. And if somebody crosses them up or something like that, like they did with the ride, they can turn all the whites on the GP lines against that tip. Not only that, because they were so much in bed with the other tip, right? They could get them to cut loose all the other dudes out there against them. So now they just had whites, they had Southsiders, everything else going against them too. It was almost impossible to survive once you cross them up. And so there was that. And the feds, though, it's different. You know, feds ain't like that. Every white gang in the nation is in the feds and represented. And they don't do what the California AB says to do just because they say to do it. They don't have it like that there. They tried and sent some really bad dudes down there to try to hook that up, and it never worked out. So if you're in the feds and you're from a certain tip, say they send you somewhere and you're on your own, you're the only one there, and there's other tips there always is. You better hope that if something kicks between your guys and theirs in another joint, that you get word about it before they do, because they're coming. And I've been on the opposite side of that information once where I got mine a little late, you know, and I got lucky because the guys that came to do it had to get drunk beforehand, and they got a little bit too drunk to get it done, and it didn't work out for them. But had they not got drunk, they had the element of surprise because I didn't know that something had jumped between us and another joint yet, or it hadn't got to me yet, but it did get to them, and they acted on it. And for, you know, lucky me, they acted drunk. Or it might have been a lot worse, you know. I mean, that's just it's just the war zone. It's the way it is. You know, some got to win, some got to lose, right? And at some point, everybody sings the blues, right? That's just the way it is, man. And the feds are a completely different animal. And also in the state, whites, for a reason, here's what they don't want. They don't want whites smoking after blacks and other races. They don't want whites eating after blacks and other races. They don't want whites doing all this stuff. And people think that, oh, what are you, afraid you're going to catch sickle cell anemia or something? No. I mean, let's just keep it 100, players. The whites got to do more with less faster than any other race in California. All right. These guys, other races, got dudes coming in off the streets. Well, guess what? They've been gangbanging their whole life. They've been on the streets. They've been thugging it up, right? Most of them part of a neighborhood gang and all of that. And they pretty much know the get down. And their heart isn't in question or nothing. White's got guys coming in looking like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. And we got to break them motherfuckers down and build them back up. And we got to do it quick. And I mean, real quick. And white could have it rough, man. So we realized that. So he said, hey, you know what? And the unwritten rule was, hey, we know you're not going to catch some kind of weird ass disease off the Serengeti or nothing if you're friends with a black or you're smoking with a black or you're eating or any of that. It's just not what the deal is. The deal is fraternization. If I'm associating with you and I'm throwing spreads with you, I'm breaking bread with you, and I'm doing all of that with you, and a riot kicks, I don't want to go against you. I just don't, because, you know, hey, and I don't even want that unwritten rule that, oh, me and you are just like, you know, we won't go against each other. You're black, I'm white. We're friends. We're not going to go against each other. If something kicks, we'll be somewhere else. But what if you aren't somewhere else? Something kicks, and now you, a black man, got to hit this dude because he's going to get you. And here I am, your partner, been smoking and drinking and carrying on with you. I have to stop you from getting him, and it ends up with him being able to get you. And so all that gets stopped. You just don't smoke, drink, eat, do anything, kick it with them. You don't do any of that right there. Then I know that at least I know this guy next to me ain't one of your best friends. And that when you come to hit me, he's going to be caught in the shadows trying to decide what he should do. Or worse yet, he's going to help you hit me. You know, so it's that's the California get down. The feds is different. Look, man, the feds is like this. If I'm running a poker table, bam, it's my table. I'm taking a cut out of each pot. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, how many chips out of each $1 or whatever, and there it is. That's my table. I'm taking this cut. I'm providing everything. So there's whites, blacks, Mexicans, Asians, everything else, and all points in between, and a mix. All right there at the table. We're doing the poker game. Dudes come by, and that's their hustle, right? They'll deep fry burritos in the cell and do all of that. Come by and, hey, you guys want some burritos? That's my table. Yeah, give them all a burrito. You want a burrito? Give them all a burrito and give them all a soda. Bam, and I pay the dude. Boom. The table eats and drinks. They don't care if this dude's black, Mexican. They don't get it because I'm going to tell you what it is in the feds. We know in the feds that whoever's cooking that food is wearing gloves and they're clean. Because if they get caught, anybody sees them preparing that food in a downright nasty way, that person's going to get hit. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be his own people who do it. And that's across the board. Black, white, Mexican, Chinese. It don't matter. It's across the board. Native American and all of that. Everybody's got those rules. So you know in the feds, in the penitentiaries anyway, somebody comes around there and that's their hustle selling food and stuff. You know that's clean. They make suckers. They do all of that. That's so everybody's got a hustle in the feds too. In the States, you may not have everybody with a hustle. There's dudes that'll walk around just dead broke with nothing, right? In the state. In the feds, it's different. You got, okay, so I get up in the morning like once a week, do my my bedding. So I put all my bedding in the laundry bag right there and I leave. When I come back, my stuff will be folded right there on my bed. I'm paying that dude every month a certain amount. My laundry, my dirty laundry, right? Once a week, it's this, it's that, twice a week, whatever I have set up. I set it by the door on my laundry day, and that dude that does laundry for people, because they got washing machines and dryers in the feds, he'll come by, grab that laundry. When you come back, all your shit will be folded up and on your bed. You just put it away. Okay? That's how the feds works. Now, the state don't get down like that. You want your laundry done? Yeah. Get a bar of soap, get scrubbing, right? But in the feds, you know, you pay the dude a book, 2 books a month, and you get that done. When that dude's doing like maybe maybe he's probably making $600 a month just doing laundry. That's just his hustle. That's what he does. Everybody's got a hustle in the feds. Dudes are running tickets. Dudes are they're loan sharking stamps. They give you 2. You got to owe them 3 back. Give you 10 days to pay it back. You don't have to give them the 2 back. You can bring them 1 and carry it again for another 10 days. Man, I've seen dudes carry that, give that 1 book, end up paying 30 books instead of avoiding to pay them fucking 3 back all at once. It's a hustle. Everybody's got one, you know, and the economy there is all off of stamps, and they got the bankers. They got the guys that'll see that the price of stamps is going way down, and they'll go, oh, there's too many stamps out here. And they'll buy up a whole shitload of them and start pulling them off, sending that price back up. And they are the ones that control the economy. So, and that's not in the state like that, but it is in the feds like that, you know? So, and then you got guys that you don't go to store 1 week or something, no worries. You got stores in these cells, man, and you go in and they got it laid out like you're at a liquor store or something. I'll take that candy bar, this one, and you just get what you want. Sodas on ice and all that. If you're buying a lot of whatever, they're going to give you the sodas, and then bam, you break them off the stamps. Off you go. Dudes that have brought in all these stamps, they're going to the store. They're selling stamps to people who need to get the stamps because they like to spend during the week on all the things that are offered. Drugs, it don't matter. You can get anything with stamps. And so dude's trading the stamps for more stuff out of the commissary to put in his mini store where he jacks the price. And it's just an economy. And the feds have that economy going, and everybody's got to hustle. The kitchen, yeah, you get your food. And they feed you right. Some places are kind of where they feed you right. But they also, man, they steal from them kitchens, and you make a lot of money in them kitchens. So Everybody's making money in the feds. Everybody's making money. It's circulating. It's all of that. It's its own economy. It's based on stamps. You got the bankers that are running the economy, pulling stamps back, letting them out, making sure the price stays stable, the whole 9 yards. It's on a microcosm of capitalism, the way it is in the country, on the macrocosm of it all. And that's a little bit about the difference between the state and the feds, night and day, night and day. And California's kind of it's just structured. There is no, well, can we negotiate how I'm going to act today? No, it's not open for negotiation. You're going to act a certain kind of way, or you're going to get dealt with a certain kind of way. You're going to follow the fucking rules the way they are, or you're not going to get to not follow them more than once. It's just the way California is. The Fed's not so structured. So many different things going on. Depends on what your car is doing. So you might have California in a row of tables and everything, and they're running on one set of rules. Now, there's your standard umbrella rules that are just common fucking sense. But then you got Missouri over here. Well, they do things a little different, a little different. And then you got, Florida over here, and they do things different, right? And unlike the main lines in California, in the state, the feds, you got Gangster and tips that are on the lines and stuff, and they're doing things. And sometimes they start to get a little out of hand, right? And that's when the independent whites get together. They decide, fuck this tip. And they know they got numbers 10, 20, 30 to 1. And one day they just come out to the yard, and every white on the yard gets on that fucking tip. And they know, the administration knows they got to take that gang off the yard. There's not enough of them to make that fight. And they take them off the yard, move them somewhere else. Then there's no gangs on that yard, or at least not that gang, for a while, until they flip it over. I mean, that works out for them on that yard, but, in turn, nobody talks about the price to pay, where somebody who took part in that against that gang gets rolled up off of that yard for stabbing, for whatever. And guess what? He gets on Con Air. They land him down in a prison where that gang has a stronghold. How long do you think that guy is going to last? As soon as they see him, he's going to pay the price. And people have died over it. So, and you know what? There's a lot to be said. In the States, you got TVs, right? And you got them in your cell. Feds don't have that. So there's a lot of shit that's happened over the TVs. People have lost their lives over something as simple as changing the wrong racist TV. I mean, it's, in Feds, a TV thing. TV situation is a bad get down. And so there's that. Yeah. And somebody asked, so I thought I'd throw it out there. And I'm here by myself tonight, so I thought I'd throw this little thing together and get at you with it. So that's a little about the old school DVI. It's closed down now, and it's went back and forth. The Northerners had that for a while, and they were just butchering and stabbing everything that fucking moved. The Southerners had it for a while, and same thing. White's there. White's always been there, you know what I mean? But there's been times when they've had it real thin and had it real hard. And then there's been other times when they've been real deep and had it real good. And, it's just the way it is, how the cards fall. And you roll with the punches. You know what I mean? You play the hand you're dealt. And you're no getting away from it. It's your fucking hand. You don't want to play the hand you're dealt in the prison system. Don't do crimes. That's the best way anyways. At the end of the day, man, I mean, I'm not glamorizing prison. I'm glamour. Who can find glamour? Because people say, oh, you're putting that in light. You're glamorizing it. Who can find glamour in somebody laid out on a bench with a weight bar stuck all the way through him, dead as a doornail? Nothing glamorous about that. If you find that glamorous, well, maybe you need a little time in prison, Somebody also asked me, Ronnie, and it just came to mind. They say, Ronnie, you got any hits that you thought were bad hits that you regret doing and you thought you shouldn't have done? And I'm going to tell you, or you shouldn't have had done. And I'll just answer that to that individual and everybody else that wants to hear. 99% of the hits that happen in prison I'm not 99, about 85% have some kind of link and something to do with drugs. All right. If you look at somebody that's addicted to drugs, they make a fucked up move. All right. Behind that addiction. Man, you look at some of the shit people do out here behind addictions. They're doing this way out shit in there behind addictions and they're losing their life because of what they did when they needed to get high. Um, so I think they were all wrong hits. Nobody should lose their fucking life because they got a drug addiction. You know? Yeah, Ronnie, it ain't about the addiction. It's about this. It's about that. Come on now. A life sentence or somebody on a death sentence, somebody gonna lose their life behind it. So there's a lot of things now that in hindsight, I think were bad hits because even though they're good hits in prison, nobody ever got at me and said that shouldn't have been done or anything like that. That's prison. I'm not that guy no more. I don't see things through that same fucking prism anymore. I'm out now and I see it and it all looks different to me. The whole perspective, the colors have changed, right? The whole pattern's different now. And things that I used to deem were a killing offense now, to me now is just a let's get you treatment thing. Let's get you fixed to where let's get you off this stuff that got you willing to risk your whole fucking life to get the next shot. Let's figure that out. Let's fix that. Let's do that. So yeah, so there's a lot of things I regret, and I think now were bad moves because I don't think somebody should risk losing their life over what had happened. Is it a bad move as far as the forces or politics or the power to be in the prison system? No, they were good. Those dudes had it coming as far as these guys are concerned. I just have a different idea about what has it coming now and what doesn't. So there's that. It depends on who you ask. But my perspective now is that most of the hits that happen, dudes don't have it coming. You know what I mean? It's just how can you tell somebody, hey, brother, I love you, and now I'm gonna have you stabbed because you're so fucking addicted to the drugs I sold you that you burnt this other race over here for the money because it's partly my fault. I got this full addicted. And yet now I'm going to go ahead and give the word to have him whacked because he went to another race behind everybody's back because he's addicted. And he got some dope that it turned out later on he couldn't pay for. Now they got at us and we're going to hit our own so it doesn't cause a big thing. Now this dude gets hit because he's got a drug habit. I don't agree with it. I don't believe that getting that dude hit. And I understand the prison politics. I understand the way of all of it, right? But is it really a death sentence, man? Is it really something like that? People have lost their life for that minor shit. So if you're thinking about going to prison, think about that. Think about how easy you can fuck up and lose your life. Why not just stay out? Think about how nice it is to be able to accumulate things and every year be worth more than you were the year before. And one day sit up and look around and say, man, I've worked like this for 20 years and I'm doing pretty fucking good now. Own a house, a car, a couple kids, got a dog that bites everybody. Ain't I having it right? Because those are the things that are hard to get when you go away to prison for a while. Because when you do go away, the way you think changes, the way you look at things change, the way you act changes, it all changes. And until you can find a way to change that into something more productive, you don't get out of the loop, man. The state, the system, and that thing called recidivism, they got you, man. Bungee cord to that fucking revolving door to where every time you try to get out, it springs you right back into the fucking system. And until you figure out that the problem is the person in the mirror and start to fix it, that's what you're trapped in, man. And I've seen some good dudes stay in that revolving door until they made a mistake that cost them their life that probably wasn't what somebody should lose their life for. But in there, it's a different perspective. You don't get the kind of chances to make mistakes, and you don't get the easy prices to pay for the mistakes you make out here like you do out here. In there, those dudes are fucking serious, man, about the whole thing. Certain places, certain levels, they're serious about it. You fuck up and they'll try to kill you. And if they're in a position, they'll have it done because they don't have to do it anymore. So you know what? The best thing at the end of the day is just to stay the fuck out of prison. You know, Anyway, so having said that, I tried to. I hope the show's been all right and acceptable because I ain't had Sandman here. I didn't plan on nothing, and a lot of times I'll sit here and talk to him like I'm shooting the shit, and we'll come up with something good. This time I'm just chattering around the fucking loop here and coming up with it. It's easy for me to speak on things. It's in my memory. It's what's real. It's what's there, and I just go in and tap into that. So we'll see you tomorrow night, man, and be blessed.